Alright, hi, my name's Zach Beard, I'm from Auckland, New Zealand, and this is my first video assignment for week 1 of our audio production course. And I'm going to be talking about recording an electric instrument using an amplifier. Now the first thing you're going to need to know is what gear you're going to need to make this possible. Most importantly, you need an interface. Without an interface, you're not able to capture the sound from your instrument and then record it onto a computer. So interfaces are pretty important. Now I'm going to go through the amplifier because playing an electric instrument, I want to be able to hear myself, I want to be able to monitor myself so I can hear exactly what I'm doing when I'm doing it. Some interfaces have latency issues. It's getting pretty good now, but there still is a slight delay in what you hear and from when you played it. It can be quite difficult to play along and groove really hard for that. So monitoring yourself is a way to avoid that. Some interfaces have a monitor switch built into them. For instance, I have a complete Audio 6 from Native Instruments, and there is a monitor function, which means I can just bypass the computer and go straight into the monitors without having to go through the DAW. Now, it's pretty much instantaneous. But it's always nice to have your own amplifier because you get the sound of your instrument as well. So I'm going to be demonstrating using my Nord and also this amplifier. So first things you're going to require are these cables. This is a TS cable or just a regular instrument cable. It's a 1/4 inch jack with a tip and a sleeve. And the sleeve is basically just a noise shield for the signal. Now this is coming out of the back of my piano and it's going into my input, into the back of my amplifier. Now before I actually before I turn anything on, like with my computer or my recording equipment, I make sure all my levels have turned right down. So the gain input on the interface, I've turned that right down. So in the main speakers, they've been turned right down. I want to avoid any unnecessary pops and clicks and surges in voltage that could potentially damage my system or even hurt my ears. So to avoid that, I turn everything down until I know that it's working. So I plug my piano in. Cool, it's working. From the piano, I then come to my amplifier where I have a line out. Now I already have it plugged in here, which is again, a TS cable. Now the reason why I'm using this is because my amplifier has a line out, but it does not have an XLR. Now an XLR cable looks like this. There is a male and there is a female. This is your standard microphone cable, and they're balanced. So they basically have an extra shield in there which helps repel sound. It's much quieter, the signal. So ideally when you're setting up a setup like this, you would have a shorter instrument from your instrument to your amplifier, and then from the back of your amplifier, if you only have a 1/4 inch jack like I do, you would then have a short cable going into a DI box. From your DI box, it would convert it into a balanced signal where you go from an XLR cable all the way into your mic preamps, therefore getting the cleanest, quietest signal that you possibly can. I don't have a DI box and I don't have an amplifier that allows an XLR cable to be plugged into the back of it, so I'm going straight out of the back of my amp into my line in on my interface with just an instrument cable. For the purposes of what I do at home, it's more than adequate. I'm not making professional recordings here, it's just demo. So plug it into my interface, and once it's plugged in, I can then adjust my gain. Okay, here it is here, my interface. I've got it plugged in. This is my microphone cable, and here's my instrument. So I'm going to turn up the gain here and select the instrument down here, and when I play it, you'll notice there's a green light that appears up here. That's to tell me that I have a signal. Now if I was to keep turning it up, it's still green. Go a little bit further, it's okay. It started to go red. I've gone too far, so I'll pull it back a little bit where it was clean, and my levels have been set. Now from there, I would just connect up to my DAW. In this case, use Ableton Live. I would bring up an audio track, and I would select input 2, and I could record. So in short, interface connects to your DAW, output from your monitor, from your speaker, using an XLR cable if you could, otherwise stereo TS cable, instrument cable going into DI box into your interface for quiet sound reduce noise. I don't have that, so I'm using an unbalanced cable. And then your instrument goes into your speaker, and you do this for self-monitoring so that you can perform recording at the same time without suffering any latency. Thank you.